Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. Wait a minute. Was I seeing a double? You guys let me know. That was crazy. I had not seen that before, where it was like two mics. Um, hmm, interesting. Anyway, Easter weekend just happened, so I don't know how many of you are even getting up. My kids don't have school. They didn't have school Friday, so that's why I didn't have a show. And I was thinking this morning too. But I had a lot of cool stuff that went down over the weekend, so we'll talk about that here in a second. Jam Killex, good to see you this morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, not only was it Easter, but it was also the anniversary for wife and I, so that was pretty cool. We just kind of had fun chilling, doing our thing. Um, yeah, which did include playing video games. So maybe we should get to that. If there's nothing else, let me think. Wanted to see the Mario movie. I guess it just didn't happen. It needs to happen today. I need to see that sooner than later. Normally, this would be the show where then you would come and listen to me talk about the Mario movie, right? But I think as cool as that is, it's almost on like the outside of what's in my lane. Yeah, it's a Mario movie. We all know it leans more. If for kids, it would be different if it was like the Zelda movie or Street Fighter. Yeah, so I'd want to talk about that once I see it. But all right, let's jump into what I've been playing. So it's pretty interesting. Yes, just continuing on in Crimson Desert, 46 hours. It just continues to be fun and interesting, and I'm finding new things. One thing though, and I've talked about this before, there's sometimes with games once I hit that 20 to 30, 20 to 25 mark, I start to be like, okay, I need to move on. And as great as Crimson Desert is, there are moments where it's like, okay, I need to be playing a video game because it's like I go 2 weeks only playing one game, right? But I made good use of that. So I went back to Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War, and you could see with 4 hours, 49 minutes, almost 5 hours, I had beat the human campaign. Now there are bug missions, and I've done one, and there's a few more. But when it comes to just that main human campaign story, I hit credits. Totally a fun game, in my opinion. If you like video games, if you have an interest in first-person shooters, and especially if you like Starship Troopers, this game is definitely worth it. I love that they made it. Um, there were so many things I felt like that it was doing that you could expand on. I really do feel like they could expand on the open world structure that they have, because in this game there are levels where you land and then there's different objectives that you have to do, and you can kind of do them in any order. That's kind of like the easy way, and I don't mean it by easy. That's kind of more of the simple way of introducing kind of an open world um, mission design structure. But it could go a little further and have it where there could be some more fortification slash building. I mean, it doesn't need building mechanics, but maybe something where there's some uh, persistence, maybe in certain areas on the map. Because it would be cool, just an idea of a game where it's like a big open world, and then there's like, hey, we've got information. The arachnids are going to be coming from this way, and then that gives you time to like set up, prepare for it, while maybe doing other things in the world. And I don't know. I mean, getting back to this game, I played it on Switch too. And while it ran perfectly fine and I enjoyed myself, I think I would have got a better experience out of PC. And I want to say I did when I played the demo on PC. So that's just something to keep in mind, that the Starship Troopers, awesome game. And you know what? If you get on a Switch, it's just me, with how I expect video games to run. Totally worth it. Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. That's my review. Let's see, because yeah, you can get it for $24.99. I'm sure it's going to go on sale like $24.99 for a game like this. Steam 9 out of 10. Xbox 4.8 out of 5, because this is just a classically fun game. And the other interesting thing too, I wanted to add on to it, And actually, I should quickly kind of summarize the flow. You're dropped into a map, run around first person shooting. You could throw grenades, but you also, as you get kills, it's similar to Helldivers, to where then you get a little drop pod that you can send in. It's pretty quick too. It's like you could be shooting, you get the thing, drop it in front of you, you get health, more ammo, and even super weapons. So it's just like Helldivers, where you can get like a bombing run, you can get a nuke, whatever. So it's interesting because I feel like Helldivers is an amalgamation of a lot of good tactical action games, but also introducing elements into that. And so I like that, if it was on purpose or not, but the Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug were kind of incorporating that, because it is Helldivers is a Starship Troopers like game, and those systems work when you're smaller players fighting larger enemies in groups. Um, yeah, so the flow was shoot, health is getting low, drop pod, new gun, health, bombing run, shoot. Oh, there's a bunch coming that way. I'll just throw the bomb that way. It's set up really well in that way. And how fun it was to, and I'll show it right here. Do they show it? Um, yeah, the actors. Well, they have Johnny Rico. I was hoping I could just like quickly get this to a scene. No. Um, they have Johnny Rico in it, so you get to see the Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico, kind of continuing on with the eye patch. That I don't know if they introduced that. I forget if it was Starship Troopers 3 Marauders, that direct to video thing, or if it was one of the Japanese CGI. But it's interesting how much Starship Troopers content there is, and how Casper Van Dien has been a part of that. And so if you're into that, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. Okay. Next up, Marvel Maximum Collection. I will say, oh, Jim Killick, yours are on spring break. That's cool. Yeah, we just had that, I think, last week, the week before. But with the Marvel Maximum Collection, it's reminded me. It's interesting. So when you play the Spider-Man X-Men's arcade, that first level, I didn't realize, like that first level, if you guys know what I'm talking about, you're Spider-Man and you're just grabbing these little blue items that have a red dot in it, and it tells you where to go. That I hadn't done that in 30 years or more. So when I came across that as the first level, I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this. And it's not that fun. I think that's all we had when we were younger, in terms of wanting to be Spider-Man and playing a video game. And I remember too, like when I was playing the Ninja Turtle arcade game when it came out in the arcade. And this is, when I wasn't obsessed with video games, but I thought they were cool. And I was like, wow, I just to be able to, control the Ninja Turtles, and I don't have the action figures. I could just watch something and control. Like I even built a little cardboard TV, I think I used popsicle sticks and made cardboard Ninja Turtles at the ends of them. And I would have them on both sides of the TV that I made to make it look like I'm watching an episode I made. Like that was my thought. And I think it's like video games have kind of helped fulfill that. And so I would be disappointed when I would play these IP based games I was excited about, like the Spider-Man game. And that's what's funny, because it's like Sonic itself, it made its own IP for Sega, and that was a fun IP game, right? Even though that was in video games already. It's just, yeah, so not only do you have that Spider-Man game, there was a little, okay. And I remember playing it on the Game Boy also. Wow, that was, I think at the time that must have been a big deal, because yeah, you could choose Wolverine and the other characters. And then I played the Separation Anxiety and Maximum Carnage, and they're not bad. It's funny, I remember playing them when they came out, and I thought they were amazing. And it's like looking at them, it's like, oh, I can see what the developers were doing at this time to make something look that cool and seem that cool. But it gets a little boring. But I really just think that has to do with the modern stuff we're expecting, like deeper gameplay mechanics and systems. And those older games didn't always have that, but they were still fun on the surface. There was okay, and then what was the other game? Yeah, there was an Avengers game on the Genesis, which I totally forgot about that one, and that was decently fun. I'm reminded of the days when I would rent these games, like totally. I can picture it in my head, even though there was a lot of it was pre 95. For some reason, I'm totally remembering like the house we had in 95 when we moved. I think it was 95, 94, 95. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I got the Genesis in 90, tons of memories, but 95 is when they really kick off. I just really think that had to do with my age and me really knowing what I want instead of just we go to store, parents help me rent something. It's like I knew what I wanted to rent. Um, let's see. Is that it for the Marvel Maximum Collection? I want to say don't run out and get this right away if you don't feel like you necessarily need it. If you have that nostalgia for it, it might be worth it. Or if you really want to play that X-Men arcade game and you have friends, that's probably why you would buy this. And I honestly, I even think the price is completely worth it. $24.99. Here's another $24.99 game, just like the Starship Troopers game. In my opinion, $24.99 is asking very little. Not even very little. Like I think it's a good price in general because you get a handful of games on multiple systems, which is a cool thing too if you remembered one on the SNES or the Genesis and you can switch. So, very cool there. Okay. Jim Killick, same. X-Men Arcade was my first arcade game, and I remember renting Maximum Carnage on the Genesis. That is cool. Yeah, X-Men Arcade or Ninja Turtles, one of those was my first. But yeah, Maximum Carnage. I remember just in the magazines seeing the artwork for Maximum Carnage, thinking that was the coolest thing. Carnage Maximum, and that was around the time of that Spider-Man cartoon that was on TV that was really awesome that people liked. So I think that all kind of got us excited, and we just had to play those games. All right, next up, Super Meat Boy 3D. It's interesting that it only shows that I played 10 minutes. If that's the case, that's interesting because I thought I did a lot. So Super Meat Boy 3D is a good, fun game. It doesn't revolutionize or awe as much as the original Super Meat Boy did, considering the original Super Meat Boy was just a 2D game, but what it was doing was it's like maximizing what a user could do on a 2D plane. It's kind of like when I was just talking about how like the older, there's Marvel games don't stand up as much, and they're 2D. It's like, Super Meat Boy is a game to kind of understand the momentum of the controls where the player can lock into the feeling of it. So as they're platforming through the level, you feel like you have that sense of control over what you're dodging, which is what made earlier games rough. It was what am I trying to say? It was a mix of the animation that was capable at that time with also you as the player controlling how it felt. And that's interesting. It brings me back. I think it's separation anxiety that has some really cool. No, I think they have some pretty cool Spider-Man animations for some of the walking, but then some of it's rough and there's a disconnect there. And I think, that's something that's almost done automatically with the use of 3D and polygons where there's always smooth animations. Anyway, playing Super Meat Boy 3D, taking the 2D to 3D, I think it feels exactly like I would think. With that momentum, with that moving like in the air as you're like holding down the jump, but now you're doing it on a 3D plane. There were some times where it's like, when I'm looking at where I'm going, I can't really tell. That's almost like the John Cena thing, but I can't really tell perspective as well. That didn't come up too much, but I'm assuming that's a normal thing that's going to come up in that game. That would be the thing that's hard to get past, and that is perception in 3D games. It's different for everybody. Sometimes I'll play a game and I can tell exactly what I'm doing, where I'm going. Sometimes I'm playing a 3D game and I'm like, okay, can I make that jump? And I don't, So, and here's the other thing. I remember when Super Meat Boy first came out, that was such a big deal because of Xbox Live Arcade, Super Meat Boy. It was just these new cool things. Castle Crashers was in that same time period. If it was today, so I don't know about like if it was today, if I would play the original Super Meat Boy, or if it's because I played so much Super Meat Boy that I don't care for that. Because when that, what was it? Prince of Persia Lost Crown, I think it was called, came out. That was a Metroidvania, 2D side-scroll Metroidvania. But it had a lot of puzzle spike platforming sections, obstacle that like I didn't mind that in Super Meat Boy, but when I'm playing a Metroidvania, I don't care for that. And in some Metroidvanias like Castlevania, these things exist, but they're usually in like a certain room because that's part of the lore, or it's more of the game's just teaching you like in that section, like, you know, how to properly double jump or get through things. But when there's actual areas you have to get through that are, it reminded me of the new Shinobi. Oh, which I think I'm going to load that up here shortly because they have the new DLC. Anyway, that new Shinobi game, loved it. They had some challenge areas that you had to do platforming on spikes and stuff. And like, I don't care, even though I did those anyway and I enjoyed it. I would rather that not be part of the game. It reminds me of this thing with the Astro Bot. The Astrobot game, super fun, that came out on PlayStation. I don't think it was last year. It might have been the year before. But anyway, it um it was really good, but then it would have these like time attack levels that the whole purpose of the level is just to see how fast you can get through it. But most of the Astrobot stages and levels are these open world, take your time, go through. So when I get to these time attack levels, I'm like, well, this doesn't work with the game for me. And as much as people praised Astrobot, it didn't really do too well. And the DLC they released probably didn't help. The Christmas DLC was awesome. That was an open world Christmas level, which I should have played that this year. I need to like have like Christmas stuff that I play every year. But just yeah, kind of going back to let's see, Super Meat Boy, probably worth it. Check it out. And here's another thing: it's on Game Pass, and I still pay for Xbox Game Pass because there always seems to be something to play. Okay, I think that's about it for what I was playing this weekend. It was a lot of fun. So let's jump into some news. Crimson Desert got a 4K performance mode on Xbox. It looks great. I'm primarily playing on PC anyway, but with Xbox Play Anywhere, I can play anywhere. So every once in a while, I'll be in the living room just so I could be, with my wife on the couch, big screen TV. And yeah, the 4K performance mode definitely looks good. It is crazy how this developer can constantly optimize this game almost to death, and I hope they don't. They did, however, and this is something I had brought up, they added an option to change the controls from like basic to standard or something in the control options. So that was something I brought up, and I didn't think they were going to do it, and they did. So having the accessibility options, whereas they make the game easier for the bigger audience, there's options for those that kind of like the traditional feel. So, okay, I haven't checked this out yet. The PS3 emulator RPCS3, which I use often, announces a huge new SPU breakthrough set to benefit all games. Twisted Metal 2012 has already recorded a 5 to 7% average FPS improvement, which, oh man, I was just thinking about this yesterday. Twisted Metal, fun series, and they came out with a game in 2012, like like for the PS3, right at the end of its life, and I feel like it didn't get its due. It's too bad. The developers behind our PCS3, the popular PlayStation 3 emulator, have just announced a major breakthrough in emulating the PS3's Cell broadband engine processor, reportedly leading to optimizations across all games. Historically, the PS3's Cell processor is famous created a lot of headaches for developers, blah, blah, blah. And it's interesting because I've played a lot of PS3 games emulated, and I've mostly been fine. Like I platinumed Godzilla on PS3, and played most of the Gundam games until I just hooked up my PS3 into the living room. But so this is cool. I mean, when I see this average of 5 to 7%, that makes me think of like, min-maxing in a game where I'm just like getting that percentage up. I might not even notice it, but it's cool that they keep working on this. Because then there's the PS4 emulator. I just love the fact that they can get this stuff done. All right. Monolith Soft launches website celebrating their work on Zelda series. I wonder why. So that's pretty cool. Again, Monolith Soft that I've known of, but they make JRPGs, not my thing. Little did I know that their hand in JRPGs from the beginning have been very revolutionary in the video game space. In fact, the Zelda that we have today is because of Monolith Soft. A lot of the technology that they would work on and innovate is what gave Nintendo the idea of what to do with Zelda, or the other way around, where Nintendo has the idea what to do with Zelda. Monolith Soft has the tech and expertise to make it happen. That being like the big open world sort of way they've done Breath of the Wild. Again, like is Breath of the Wild maybe one of my top 5 games of all time? It's possible. A lot of it has to do with that open world exploration. And I've played a lot of games with open world exploration, but there's something about the way it's done in Zelda that's amazing. And then so when I go play Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm feeling it evolve even more. That's why I can't wait for the next Zelda. And I think that's why I didn't care too much of Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like I need to go back and play it more. I just felt like it was, well, let's just make it bigger and go up and down. Like the cool thing about Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X, more X, because X has the true open world, even though Xenoblade Chronicles is in a way, there's still this sort of adventurous path that you're kind of led on. Even though I think the purpose, especially of the original Breath of the Wild, was you can go wherever you want. You can go straight to Ganon or go to the bosses. And it's sort of same Tears of the Kingdom, but I like how with Chronicles and X, there's still this idea of an adventure to go on and where to go and what to do. So not that it's linear, but it's almost like an adventure, a call to adventure, like a specific adventure. Yeah. Hey, Jim KillX, those Shinobi Limbo portals and secret zones were white knuckle as all get out, but at least they made it worthwhile. Yeah, and it's surprising how much that I don't care for those things, yet I enjoyed it. So anyway, oh, here we go. These guys are preparing for saying that they're behind the remake of Ocarina. Potentially, Nintendo actually reveals the dev behind the upcoming Zelda version. So a lot of times you hear people, a rumor gets out, people keep talking about it. Doesn't mean it's real, but these Zelda rumors almost sound like they have to happen. An Ocarina of Time remake by Monolith Soft using the current engine would be insane. Would be insane. And that's the other thing. I don't want the next mainline Zelda to just be another Breath of the Wild. Unless they did it differently, which this could be in Tears of the Kingdom, and I missed out. But instead of a post-apocalyptic world, make the map a fully, like even how Crimson Desert is. There's like all these towns that you can go to. In old Zelda games, there's all these towns you could go to. But I feel like in order to make that open world work, you kind of have to go with an apocalyptic look. I don't know. All right. Move on. Sega Sound Team on the success Sonic films have had on game soundtrack listens. Not that we're going to dive into this too much, but I just like the idea that because of the Sonic movies that came out, it kind of made the Sonic music even more popular. It's great stuff, and it's kind of funny that it's actually having a positive effect on like that. And then just some sad news, but the Double Dragon creator Yoshihisa Kishimoto has passed away. He was 64, but kind of amazing to think of how he contributed to video games because of like Double Dragon and that Kunio-kun style. Yeah, he designed Neketsu Koa Kunio-kun in the West known as Renegade. But yet the Kunio-kun is this type of beat 'em up that has kind of that chibi look to it, little characters, they see in Double Dragon. But just the way that you go from left to right. There's a game called Gekido. I think that was on PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. It might have been called something else. Same kind of thing. You do the beat 'em up. You go from left to right, and it's almost open world because it's kind of like you're just traveling on your own, and you're constantly like upgrading. Anyway, so RIP, but like really cool what he's been involved with. Wow, he was the creative consultant for Double Dragon Neon, which is one of my favorite Double Dragon games, where they kind of took the classic way Double Dragon was and modernized it. It was done really well. Wow, I can't believe what time it's getting to. I'm not gonna have time to play some Shinobi. I might save that for later then. Um, okay, I think that's it with the news, but what I wanted to do was update. So I beat Ultimate Bug War. So that's there. So yeah, the games that I've beat this year, and it is April 6, 2026, and it's not a lot. Well, actually, it kind of is. But in terms of games that came out this year, Suika Planet didn't beat it, but you don't. You just play it. Scott Pilgrim EX beat this one. This is great. I forgot if I did a review. I'll have to double check. I felt like this was a quick finish, and then I just moved on. But the game was great. Just thinking when I was playing it, what was going on. It was just a few weeks ago, before Crimson Desert. Scott Pilgrim, great game. Yeah, Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. Great game. And then yeah, the two games that really took up a lot of my time at the beginning of the year was Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles DE, which is the first one. So it was those really taking up the time, and then obviously, and I'm just gonna put Crimson Desert. Here's my thing. I've already played over 40 hours of this game. Is that desert or dessert? I think desserts. Is it? Let's see. Yeah, dessert's 2 S's, so I did it right. I've already put in more than 40 hours in Crimson Desert, and I would already recommend that game to anybody. Even if you don't think it's your thing, it would just be cool to try. I could stop playing it right now and just think about how much fun I've had playing it. And I think the other thing too is I'm trying to be very deliberate in how I'm playing. So it's like I'm trying not to mainline the main story, but I'm exploring. But what the game does a really good job of is marry the exploration with some of the mission structure, the missions, and this is where they're structured to get you more things in the world that you can use. Oh, hold up. There's something. Okay. Let's see. Other than that, if we were to look at this stuff that then I started, I want to go back to Greedfall. I was showing that off. That was pretty cool here. But you know what? There's going to be some more new cool games. Isn't there something at the end of this month? Saros. Let's see. If we go to upcoming games, I feel like it's really just going to be Crimson Desert until the next thing. Samson, that's on the 8th. That looks fun. From what I understand, this is also a $20 game. Oh, hey, what's up? Blue Gamer for the win. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, go check out, we did the, what was it? Like the interview. I have a bunch of interviews, but Breakman X, check out that interview linked to the channel. Wednesdays, awesome live streams. But yeah, in 1 day and 23 hours, the Samson from Liquid Swords, the people that did Just Cause, or one of the main guys from that worked on the Just Cause series. It's like a newer sort of action game. I don't know how much it's open world action adventure racing or more of just a straight up action game. Looks like it's a lot of fun. I'm going to definitely check this out. And apparently it's not a full priced game. I thought I saw something that said 25 somewhere, but I almost feel like that would be impossible. So, all right. Anything? I think that is about it. That's interesting. That was a lot of discussion and news to have, and I didn't have to bust out any gameplay. Yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I'm going to head out. I'll be back on Gundam Explained tomorrow, and then back here on Wednesday. And I think, yeah, the rest of the week is just like Crimson Desert stuff and whatever. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Talk to you later.